Okay, so this is going to be my top 10 Legend of Zelda games. Noted there's maybe about 15 or so, but this is my top 10. It's all my opinion. Of course, it's what I've liked and also what I've played. I mean, I've played most of them, but either way. Top 10, I tried my best to do it from least favorite to most favorite, but I like them all really well, so it's kind of hard. So they're pretty much where I want them to be, but at the same time, where I would have said they tied, I tried to put them in a direct 10 to 1 order. So, you know, that's how that went. Top 10 Legend of Zeldas. Hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Number 10. Start this list with the original Legend of Zelda, because that is the Zelda that started them all. Very good game, very kind of classic, start of the genre, invented a lot of things that are still held over into modern games. Very good, pretty difficult, just kind of sets you off, lets you go where you want, figure it out for yourself, came with a map, the story's in the booklet. Pretty cool, I like the idea of that. That's about the only way they could have done it too, but um, I don't know. It's low on the list. I really like it, but it's low because I just never could get into it that much. I don't know why. I do typically prefer the 3D games over the 2D, so that probably plays a part. But I do really like the game. It's very challenging. It's got a little bit of charm, a lot of mystery to it. Uh, just overall, pretty good game. All the it has a bunch of items, a big, pretty big area to explore, a lot of secrets, so on and so forth. So I enjoy it. But it ended up getting the 10 spot on this list. But they're all Legend of Zelda games, so that's still really good because they're all Legend of Zelda. Number 9. Next on the list is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Um, Launch title for the Wii. It also released for the GameCube, but anyone that was getting away is like, I gotta have some Zelda. Interesting what they did. You may notice in the Wii version, Link is right-handed. They did that in Skyward Sword too, but in this one they actually flipped the whole map. Uh, so basically, the true version of the game is on the GameCube, and then the Wii version's, a little different. The sword controls, there was a lot of waggle in the fighting, usually. Not a huge deal. Uh, Greatly improved the way they used the Wiimote for Skyward Sword, but this was obviously very early. Um, I like the adventure kind of aspect. I like the grimmer tone, uh, which you hadn't really seen since Majora's Mask, especially considering Wind Waker. Uh, I like the wolf aspect. It was interesting, especially when you can kind of switch whenever. I really like exploring. That was my desk again. Sorry. Usually a big part of Zelda games for me. So this gives you a nice large area to explore. There's a lot of places, a lot of familiar places too. Actually, um, it's kind of set in the same kind of place as Ocarina is supposed to be, if I remember right. Uh, I like the characters too, the relationships with Link. I like the design of everything in the game as well, like of the dark creatures and the Gorons and so on. Pretty cool. Um, I don't know. I do like the exploration in it, but at the same time, it feels kind of empty. You can fight on the back of your horse with your sword. That's a nice addition. Um, I'm trying to think of. Other than that, it's just kind of a pretty standard, very Ocarina-ish Zelda 3D title. You know what I'm saying? There's not really much more else to say about it. Midna is a pretty cool side character. I like her. I like her better than Fee and Navi so far. I never really had as much as of a problem with those two as everyone else, but Midna's definitely very cool, and you know, I like the kind of a little twist near the end of it. Learning new moves from the skeleton, uh, which most people assume is Ocarina's Link. Just overall, pretty enjoyable game. I like it pretty well. That's about it. Number 8. Next on the list, Link's Awakening DX, the Game Boy Color Edition. Just overall superior to the original Game Boy version, I'd imagine. It's got some extra stuff. It's in color, which, though it's not a big bother to me, is highly appreciated. It's a really fun little Zelda game. I want to say it was his first portable game, if I remember right, and I'm really enjoying it. I've put a little more time into it than number 9 there. I've had it longer. It was on the 3DS shop, and I did manage to find the cartridge. I'm really enjoying it. It's super fun. I like the it's different. It's got some different items, which makes it nice. It's kind of just a calmer Zelda. You just kind of go around, do what you will. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just a nice little relaxing kind of a Zelda, and you just it's got a different kind of a pace to it. Just overall, a really nice kind of game. Really enjoyable. Some cool characters are in it. Kind of a sad ending. But also kind of the best ending, because there's the windfish, which you should see in the picture. It's called the windfish. It's a giant whale with wings. That's amazing. You gotta love whales with wings. You go around, you collect stuff, beat dungeons. It's got some decent boss fights in it. It's also, what I really like about it is it's got some references to other Nintendo games. It's got some Mario stuff in there. I want to say some Samus stuff, I want to say, and a few other things, so that's really cool. I enjoy that, and it's about all I have to say, really, so moving on. Number 7. Next on the list is The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures on the GameCube. I don't have too much time with the actual Game Boy version. Like, I got it on DSiWare, and I enjoy it, but I really, really did like the Four Swords on the GameCube. But the graphics are really great. The gameplay is very interesting compared to the other Zeldas, because you got the 4-link mechanic. Sorry if you heard that bump, that was my keyboard slider. And you can play it with friends, and playing a Zelda game with friends, like actual co-op, both playing it at the same time, is very interesting and pretty fun. There isn't like a versus mode kind of a deal, but me and one or two of my friends, I actually had the Game Boy Advances and the cables, and so we actually played through it and beat it, and that was just a really cool experience. There's not really much else to say about it other than the actual 4-link thing. It's kind of a classic Zelda 2D game experience, so that's really nice. That's about it, I guess. Really awesome game. Should definitely try it. Going into the next number. I can't talk. Number 6. Next on the list would probably be on any list, like most of these. Link to the Past. Very awesome game. Really. It's kind of a split opinion. Like, people either like this one a whole lot, or Ocarina tends to be the common response. I like this game, I really do, but I do just like the 3D games a little better, so that's why a lot of these... That's my cell phone. A lot of these later games on this list are 2D, so that explains that. I really like it. It kind of set up a new kind of standard for 2D Zelda. It's got solid combat. The graphics are great. The story's interesting. It's got the Dark World aspect, which creates new kind of gameplay mechanics. It's got some good characters, an interesting villain. I really like the start of the story. Just overall, a pretty good deal. A really enjoyable Zelda game. Did I say Zelda? Either way. Um, Overall, really good. I don't really know what else more to say about it that I haven't already said about one of the other 2D Zeldas. Other than they're making a new one. Or a sequel, which is really cool, and I'm super looking forward to it. It's got some interesting new things in it, and Nintendo knows how to handle sequels pretty well. So yeah, this is a great game. You should definitely get it. Going on. Number 5. Now on the list is a what's rated as the best game of all time. Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. Really awesome, amazing game. Kind of set up how every 3D Zelda game would be afterwards. Um, awesome, pretty fun, very interesting. A lot, it's got some of the exploring, which is nice. I really appreciate exploring in video games. Uh, Introduced the kind of horseback riding deal. Uh, Really put a lot of focus on the Master Sword. It's got a time travel mechanic, some interesting areas, some very interesting characters. Introduced a lot of the mainstays of Zelda characters, like the construction workers and the guy in the mask salesman, the postman, so on and so forth. I can't, unless I forget they're in like Link to the Past or something. But anyway, really interesting game. Pretty solid story. The story's really good. It's got a few side missions, but not too many. It's got a Mario nod in there. Just a classic, great game. A lot of dungeons. Difficulty kind of mid-range. It has a couple harder dungeons, the water dungeon. Less hard and more annoying, really. It's about all I can really say about it. Redeads are scary as shit. Number 4. Next on my list, just so happens to be the Skyward Sword, chronologically, the first game in the Zelda series. The story's very, very interesting. I really like the story going on in this. It also introduces a new villain to the series. I want to say it's pronounced Girahim, maybe Girahim. I'm not exactly sure. Very interesting the way you have to fight him and overall what he's doing. I haven't beat this one yet because I'm just really bad at beating video games. I'm probably like 3/4 through it. A lot of people don't like the controls, though I'm not a fan of the Wiimote stuff. I like the added strategy and challenge of the one-to-one sword controls. Like when you fight Girahim, for example, you know what I mean. And for the bow and arrow and stuff, it's got a lot of new items, which is interesting. And a nice thing is, though they don't do it all that much, you do have to go back to some earlier dungeon items to do stuff in later dungeons, whereas in a lot of Zeldas, it's kind of one item to beat one dungeon or do some side missions. The side missions are also very cool in this. There's a whole bunch of them, and it gets you some stuff. I like the stamina mechanic that they added. Adds a new kind of strategy to the game that's really appreciated, and some new gameplay. Also like the upgrading items thing that goes on in it. That's really nice. It's a very pretty game. The flying's okay. Uh, what else is there to really say? It's got some good humor. I really like the Zelda in it. This probably, between this and Wind Waker, has my favorite Zeldas. They just actually act. They do stuff. They act like people, and that's pretty cool. And it sets up a lot of the later Zelda stuff, which is very cool and interesting. It's just got a lot of things going on for it, and if you got it new, a little plus is you got a soundtrack, like a orchestra of Zelda music, which is pretty nice. Um, you also got one with Ocarina 3D if you got it on the 3DS. If you like signed it up on Club Nintendo, like you got Ocarina's like whole soundtrack, so that was nice too. But that's off the point. I really enjoy this game. I need to beat it soon. Should definitely try it out. Number 3. Now on the list would be Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. This is actually, believe it or not, my favorite 2D Zelda game. I want to say it was co-developed by Capcom, or developed maybe. Capcom's pretty good with 2D games. Uh, the Minish Cap introduces a new mechanic to the series. You get a talking hat, uh, and he can shrink you to small sizes at certain points. And this introduces a lot of the some of the dungeons and some of the puzzles. You need to do this. It's a pretty interesting game too. As far as the story goes, it focuses on a main bad guy, Vati, which is one of my more favorite Zelda villains, honestly. I like Ganon. I like the wizard from Link to the Past. I can't remember his name. I like Girahim and so on, but Vati is just really cool because he's just like really pissed off and wants to kill shit. I appreciate deep villains, but there's so many deep villains nowadays. I'm starting to reappreciate just I want to kill things villains. You know what I'm saying? I want revenge. Vati's cool. He's purple. Uh, it's got a lot of side mission kind of deals. It's got its own little kind of on the side kind of thing to do with the friends. I don't know. I can't remember what they're exactly called, but they're like friendship stones. And if you match them, like special things happen. There's some other side quests. The graphics are really pretty. The setting is interesting. Um, I like the Minish people. I also like the people up in the sky, which is pretty cool. Just overall, just a really charming game. The music's great, as in Zelda, like the series, music's usually great. Uh, I don't really know what else more to say about it. I mean, it's just a really great 2D Zelda game. I like it a lot. I don't know. It's just there's something about it that makes me like it a lot. So if you haven't played it, you should probably try it. It's really good, and I'm moving on. Number two. Number 2 on this list is the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Game that started a lot of speculation because it had cel-shaded graphics. Um, and I don't think it would have been as big of a deal if Nintendo didn't show that like little teaser of the graphical powers of the GameCube, where it looked kind of Ocarina ish, like Link fighting Ganon, and that's kind of what people wanted. But people got what they wanted with Twilight Princess, kinda, as far as that went. I love the graphics for Wind Waker. I just love cel-shaded graphics in general, or any kind of graphics that aren't realistic. I enjoy a lot, like Skyward Sword and so on, because realistic graphics look really bad 5 to 10 years from now, whereas Wind Waker will still look good, Skyward Sword will still look good, Dragon Quest 8 still looks good. You know what I'm saying? Those games just kind of have that presence, whereas Mortal Kombat used to be a really great looking game, and now it's so shitty looking. Moving beyond the graphics, Wind Waker is, I would have said it was tied with the number 1, but like I said, I had to pick and choose here. I love the exploration in the game. Just very cool to me that they just give you the sea, and it's like, go, you know? A lot of people don't like how vast the sea was, but I thought it was really cool to just kind of, like, once you're going from A to B, to like just stop at an island and see what the hell's going on. I thought that was really cool. It's got some cool side missions. I love the characters in this. Everyone is very well characterized, I guess. No one seems pretty stale. if you go around and talk to everyone, everyone's pretty interesting for the most part. So that's kind of cool. Uh, I like the little twist with the princess. That was cool. I like the harkening. That might not even be a word. I probably didn't use that right. But I like the callback to the Ocarina of Time. Uh, there's a couple of callbacks to that. Like everyone else, I didn't like finding the Triforce pieces or whatever. That was kind of annoying. It kind of slowed down the pace a lot. Um, Music's fantastic. This game probably, with the exception of a few songs, has my favorite music. Uh, the whole game's pretty upbeat, but at the same time is kind of dark at places. It starts very interestingly because you don't have your sword and you have to kind of solid snake around. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. You build some. Link has some family, which is new and interesting. Uh, the other instance being his uncle in Link to the Past is about all that I can really think of, and I think he had an uncle in uh, what was it, Minish Cap, and that's about as far as it ever went for Link, though. In this, he has a grandmother and a sister, and the sister's what starts the whole story. And it's got Tingle in it. Um, I like the dungeons. I like the items. I like the bosses. I like the music. I like the graphics. This game is just definitely just up there as far as Zelda goes, and I can't wait for the HD remake on the Wii U. I'm very excited for it, as I am for whatever uh, new Zelda they're going to put out on that thing. Uh, it looks really good. So, Wind Waker, definitely one of my favorites. Moving on to number one. Number one. Number one on this big bad list of top 10 Zeldas happens to be The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Pretty, pretty dark game, and I think that's part of what I like about it. Is it's just a very kind of really dark, like deep down there, kind of bad feeling game. There's a lot of sad around. There's a lot of death going on. The whole point is to escape death. It's got an interesting kind of mechanic to where you've got to do everything in a 3-day period. I don't know the exact, it's not actual 3 days. I don't know the exact time they give you, but it can get pretty hectic, especially before you get your ocarina. Like when I was a kid, I was like, dude, time's passing so fast. I can't. There's no way, And then I got the ocarina, and it's like, oh well, I can turn back time. I can also slow it down once I get so far. You can go forward to the next day. There's a lot of interesting things you can do to speed or slow down the time to your wanting. This game, if you go straight through it, can be kind of a shorter story, but it's completely loaded with things to do on the side. There's a lot of extra items you can get. There's a lot of extra people you can help that has to do with us meeting people at certain times and doing certain things. Like if you're not a real pro at this game, this is the kind of game to do everything. You gotta have like the guide or an FAQ up to kind of get everything down, because there's a lot of very specific things you gotta do. And resetting time resets everything you've done besides beating. I want to say besides beating an actual dungeon. Uh, Everything else kind of resets. So it's like you do a side quest, you get the stuff and the good feelings, and then you reset everything. And so that's kind of a sad kind of deal. But if you do everything, you do kind of get special things for the ending, which is pretty nice. Like it's like it kind of remembers at the same time, even though it kind of resets it as well. I don't know. I like the exploration. You've heard me say that a lot in this. All the areas are pretty cool and pretty interesting. You got the Goron's ice area, the kind of sea area with the Zoras. I like a lot of the characters, kind of the same deal with Wind Waker. Kind of everyone's a little bit, a little interesting. Just go around and talk to people. I like how it kind of has a lot to do with Ocarina of Time, and at the same time is a very, very different kind of a sequel. There's a lot of focus on mass in this, whereas in Ocarina, they were just kind of a really small kind of a deal. Like these actually, you get like you can turn into a Goron, a Deku, and a Zora, and that's pretty cool. And if you do everything to get all the mass, you can turn into the fierce deity, which is one of my favorite parts about it. Is like I don't know why they haven't told us anything more about the fierce deity. Why he's so fierce. Uh, what's his deal? Why haven't they brought him back or mentioned him ever again? You know, I'm interested in the character. They left him pretty mysterious. I like the main villain a lot. Kind of a I don't know how to put it. Kind of a Mr. Freeze aesthetic, maybe, because he's kind of just corrupted for feeling bad, I guess is the way to put it. He got the Majora's Mask, and it kind of took him over. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you even get you don't have Navi. You got I don't remember if it was Tattle or Tail. Haha, fairy jokes. But the Skull Kid, who's the main bad guy, has one, and you get locked with one. They don't like you at first, and then they kind of get along with you and learn how bad the Skull Kid is. Just you know, it's a very interesting. I love the music. N64 graphics, you know, they don't age too well. I'm fine with them. Gameplay's really unique as far as all the new things introduced. Um, I don't know what else to really say about it. I like playing as the different characters, add some new and cool things. Um, Trying to think. It's got some returning music from Ocarina, which is cool. It's in a whole different area, Clocktown. I forgot that's the hub area. I forgot the actual name. I think it's Termina, I think is the new area. And they haven't really went back to that area ever again since that game. The moon is very evil. Some of the settings are pretty interesting, like once you go into the moon. And the final boss is really cool. By the way, Fierce Deity kills everything with like one hit. It has the sword beams, which I really like. I don't know really what else to say about it. Like I said, it was kind of tied with Wind Waker. Uh, but if I had to pick a number one spot, I picked this game. I really enjoy it. I wish they'd do a remake, an HD update of it like they did with Ocarina. I'd prefer it on the Wii U, but I'd take it on the 3DS as well. Um, that's really all I have to say about it. So, yeah. I guess. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't entirely agree with my top 10, it's all opinion. You know, you can in the comments leave what your top 10 would be, or maybe make a response video. Kind of a rare kind of a deal, but I'm putting it out there. I'm like you can. That's really about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sorry that I'm awful at explaining why I like things. So, see you later.